Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Watt and I do social media for NC State Extension. And lately we've been receiving a lot of requests about how exactly to navigate analytics on social media. So I thought I would start by helping you all with navigating Facebook analytics. So as you can see right here, I'm already on our NC State Extension Facebook page. So when I'm on this page, I'm on the home screen. To get to the Insights section, I would click on this More tab right here and go to Insights. And so once you get to Insights, you can see you have a lot of different options on the left-hand side of your page. So the first thing it takes you to is the overview, which is the page summary. So for me, when I look at analytics, I usually do it on a monthly basis. So the closest thing that you would have to looking at it from a monthly basis would be for the last 28 days. But you can choose to have a page summary for today, yesterday, or the last 7 days. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the last 28 days. So for me, that would be from March 21st to April 17th. And you can see the number of page views that we've had, the number of likes, reach. And the nice thing about this is that it'll show you how well you did compared to the previous period of 28 days. So for me, it's telling me we're up 438% in terms of likes, up 375% in terms of reach. So that way, when you're looking at these numbers, you get a really nice benchmark. So for me, what I would care a lot about would be looking at reach. So reach, for those of you who don't know, is how many unique individuals have seen your post. I know on some other social media platforms, you also see the term impressions. So the difference between impressions and reach is that reach is the unique number of people, different people seeing your post, whereas impressions is usually a higher number in that maybe someone saw your post multiple times, so that would count as if they saw your post 5 times, that would be 5 impressions versus a reach of just 1 if it's just 1 person. So you have post engagement, which is something I care about. We determine post engagement by the number of likes, comments, and shares that you're getting. So that's also something I'm interested in. Page likes, again, that's self-explanatory, the number of people who are liking your post. So whether they're responding with Facebook uses something called reactions, so it can be like a like, a sad face, a heart face, etc. And then videos. So this is looking at the number of 3-second video views, which is the default for what Facebook considers a view. So you can see with video views, we're actually down 36%. And then in terms of page followers, that's also something good to look at to see if you're increasing your followers. So our page followers are up by 317 people, which is a 487% increase from the last period of 28 days. And sometimes, followers can kind of be seen as like a vanity metric in that it's not the most important thing to really look at when compared to engagement, because if you have a lot of followers but you don't have people liking, commenting, and sharing your content, then it's kind of just like a vanity in that, oh, it's great you have all these followers, but they're not really engaging with your content. But it's still good to make sure that you're increasing your followers from month to month. So that's your overview page. The next thing I would look at would be specifically going into followers. So on overview, it kind of gave you the percent increase in the number, but here you can really customize it. So say I wanted to look at last month, which would be from March 1st to March 31st. And so from here, I can see how many page followers I currently have, which is 8,825. And then I can see if there was any like spikes in followers on a certain day. So right now seems to be pretty steady. So we went from 8,737 to 8,825. And then you can also see which ones came from like paid ads. Did you have any unfollowers? So we had like a few unfollowers, but for the most part, the people who followed us balanced it out for an increase. And then you can also go into like where the page followers happened. So it could be on your page. Was it like through search? There's just different, you can dig into that a little more. Another section that you can look at is likes. So for me, likes and followers are very similar, and you might be wondering what the difference is. So with followers are people who are actually seeing your posts, but they may not actually like your page. So they might not be associated. They might not want to like associate and tell the world like, hey, I like NC State Extension, but I still want to see what posts they're putting out. And likes can be the same thing. They might like your page just because you asked them to, but maybe they're not actually following your post because they just didn't want to see that in their feed. But typically, when someone likes your page, the default is set to follow your page as well. So if you have to pick between the two in terms of which is more important, I would go with followers because they're actually potentially seeing what you're posting about. But the likes really work in the same way. So I'm not going to go over that. It's really similar to followers. But if you were just curious in terms of the gap, so 8,780 likes versus 8,825 followers. So I'm happy that we have more followers than we have people liking our page because that's more of what I care about. And then you can look at reach. So again, you can see reach from the overview page, but this allows you to see from March 1st to like March 31st or whatever day, whatever time frame you want to go by. It'll let you see if there is a spike. So you'll see we actually had a spike around March 21st, and I can see that was because of a paid ad that we were running. So if you see spikes, sometimes it can be because you're running ads, or maybe it could just be like a post that you got really good engagement on. So I see like March 29th is another post, as another time where I got a lot of engagement. So I would look back then, or actually it's March 28th. I would look back and see, hey, what did I post on March 28th? Did it get like a lot of good engagement? Is that why the reach was high? And kind of like dig into that a bit. So you can also look at page views. So how many people are viewing your page overall? And you can again change the date for that. And this isn't just tied to one specific post either. So just people who are seeing your page overall. So here we kind of have a spike at the end of the month as well. There's actually a dip for March 28th. And you can change the different views based on what you're looking for. So you can see, okay, were they looking at the home page? Were they looking at your post? So really just looking at the home page had the most views compared to other sections of our Facebook page. And you can also look and see where they might be coming from. So mostly they're coming from Facebook. It looks like some are finding our page through Google search. Some are coming from extensions, main website. Some are coming from Homegrown's website, and some are coming from Iredell County. So that's very interesting to look at that. So I'd be curious as to what Iredell is posting. to send people to NC State Extension's Facebook page. On page previews, actions on page, that's not really that important for you all to worry about, but something else to look into would be posts. So you can look at when your fans are online. So right now it's set to Pacific time zone for me. So just make sure you convert this time to Eastern Standard Time. But you can see which days seem to be the most popular for people being online. So it looks like for me, that would be more during the week. So Monday through Thursday, and then is when I'm in the 8,000s. And then on the weekend, it looks like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's a slight dip in when my fans are online, but it's not anything major. And we're posting something every day on our Facebook page. So let's see. It's not because we're not posting on the weekend or anything. And then you can look at the time. So like the peak here is 6 p.m. So with Eastern Standard Time, that would be 9 p.m. So that's about the time when I tend to post to our Facebook page. And then from here, you can look at your individual posts. So you can see if there was any sort of spike. So just looking at the posts that they've listed, you can always hit the See More tab and it'll show you more posts. But clearly, I just eyeballing it here. This article that we posted about Meat Suite, which is an online directory where people are able to order meat in bulk from local farmers. That was something we posted recently, actually. And so that had a reach of 35,000 people, 35,029 to be exact. And the engagement, so I would typically look more at the engagement. Like I said, I'm more worried about reactions, comments, and shares. So that's this purple line right here. And that's at 903. So you can see that is really high engagement compared to, 69, 25, 72. 226 is not bad. So you can see definitely like that is a post that did well. And so that's what I would encourage you all to do. Look at the posts that are doing well and then see if you can replicate that in the future and make a note that people are interested in that topic and try to see if you can continue to do more of that kind of post. And then if you want to dig into it too, like you can get a fuller breakdown if you'd like. So for instance, 137 people liked it on our actual page, but then 321 more likes came from places where people had shared our post because this post had 301 shares, which is amazing for us. Something else to look at is post types. So you can see that photo posts are getting the most reach for us, followed by videos and followed by links. But when I look again at the engagement, which is what I care the most about, reactions, comments, and shares, photos is first, but then links is actually in second place for us. And then video is last. And that's something interesting to note because when I had first started this position, videos were doing really well on Facebook. And now it seems that Facebook's algorithm has changed a lot. So I'm actually noticing my links are performing pretty well now. So Facebook is always changing, what post types get more play in the news feed. So I would definitely play around with different media types and see what works best for you. Another thing to look at too is your events. So you can change it to the last 28 days or whatever time frame you want to work, but that's just what I prefer. And you can see how many events you posted. So honestly, I know NC State Extension has a lot of events, but we don't really post a lot of them to our Facebook page. But I know a lot of you on the county level, you really use Facebook heavily for events. So You can look at how many people were reached overall in the events that you posted in the past 28 days, how many event responses you got. If you set it up like with a ticketing system, you can see how many ticket clicks you got to, like if you have a link to Eventbrite or something like that. And then you can actually go through and see what your events were that you had posted. So this was a Zoom session. This was like actually a partnership done. And I think Kim Allen, one of our extension specialists, was hosting this as well. So you can see that it had a 1,100 reach, and then it only had like 6 responses. So I would say, probably didn't do that well compared to this one on teens, stress, and anxiety while social distancing. So you can see from here, these were both the same event, but I can concur that people care more about how it's affecting teenagers maybe than how it's affecting older adults. So maybe our followers are really interested in more of their parents and they have teenagers and they're trying to help them out. Um, so yeah, that's something else you can look into. And I'm going to X out of that. Another thing that you can take a look at is videos. So it'll actually force you to go to Creator Studio. It used to be that you can look at this directly in Insights, but that has changed. And again, you can change the time frame. So I'm just going to change it to the last 28 days. And you can see we have had 1.3 thousand minutes views, which is slightly down from the previous period. And we have had 267 1-minute video views versus 2.9K 3-second views. So we're up a lot on 1-minute video views, and we're down slightly on 3-second views. But I honestly, the 1-minute video views makes me happy because that means that more people are sticking around to watch more of our videos. So I would care more about the 1-minute video views because that means if they're staying for 1 minute, they're learning something. Whereas 3 seconds, you know, they saw it, they probably weren't that interested in it if they're not going to stick around. And then I'm happy that my engagement is up 103%. So yeah, you can again go through and see if there were any spikes based on content that you had posted. And then you can see what your top videos were. So for us, it was a how to brood chickens, or chicks rather, because as a lot of you might have noticed, backyard poultry is rising in light of COVID-19. So one of our extension agents made this video and posted some tips and tricks. So we posted that to our page. And then you, again, like you can look at this and see, okay, these are the types of content that people are interested in. So how can you expand on that in the future? And then this is wood versus plastic. So both of these fall into the category of experiential education, how-to stuff. So that's a good thing that to put in a video is how to do something, because that seems to be doing pretty well. Okay, so going out of videos, you can also look at people. This is just good to check every once in a while. So you can look at your fans, which is people who like your page, or your followers. It's pretty similar breakdown, but I'm gonna look at followers. So most of my followers are women, and men are only at 29%. So that just informs you that, hey, if there's a largely female topic that you're going after, it'll probably be really appreciated. So for example, a lot of our posts featuring like female extension agents and specialists, like women in agriculture, that performs really well on our page. And it's probably because 70% of our followers are women. And then you can also look at the age breakdown too. So you can see 35 to 44-year-olds is our top age demographic among followers. But it's also good to compare to the number of people who are engaging with your page, which again is 35 to 44-year-olds. So when I first had started, um, these numbers were not the same. So it would be interesting to see if those numbers correlate for you all. So for us, I think it was still like the the people engaged with us were an older audience by about 10 years than our followers. So that's just something that would be interesting to look at for your pages as well. So that's pretty much an overview of Facebook analytics. So let us know if you like this content, and then we will continue to do this in the future with other platforms.